this interview in particular is brought to you by Burn It Up Coaching and 21-Day Challenge. So if you want to evolve into your greatest possible self, set a clear target for your 1-year goal, create your dream life, get it into detail, write it down, and then break that down into bite-sized steps so that you're able to accomplish it over the next 21 days. Then the 21-Day Challenge might be the perfect thing for you to get accountability, daily check-ins and progress reports, weekly deep dives to uncover the limiting self-sabotaging beliefs. If you're interested in the 21 days and achieving your top priority in the next 21 days, definitely send me a message, because I want to find out if we can help you get there. I know we can, and let's do it together. 21-Day Challenge. Love you. Looking forward to talking to you about it. Now, the next portion is the iTunes Review of the Week. And it is by the one, the only Yvonne Larson, who's actually being on the show today. She's coming on the show, and it's her birthday, so I wanted to give her a shout out and tell you all to go visit for her podcast. It's playtowinpodcast.com. Go check it out, because she's awesome, and I'm super, super grateful that she came on my show on her birthday, and she's launching this, so super awesome. She says, passion, focus, inspiring. I've met lots of people who say they are committed to transform the world. This guy, what? Seriously, he's no joke. His weekly 12-hour marathons are packed with valuable, reliable, and practical tools and resources. He is meticulous about curating the best guests. He is like the Energizer Bunny. He keeps going and going and going and going. I'm proud and honored to know such an amazing man. Thank you so much, Yvonne. And if you want to give us some feedback, go search Becoming Your Greatest Possible Self on iTunes, or go to beyourgps.com/iTunes. It'll take you to the same place, and you can give us a rating, a review, and subscribe, and keep up to date on all the latest episodes. And also give us your feedback. How are we doing? What would you like to see more of? How would you like us to improve? So give us that feedback so we can deliver exactly what you want. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you. Next is the introduction of the woman of this hour, of our hour together, and it is Nichole Sylvester. And she is an absolute powerhouse, leads from her heart. Just got some amazing reaffirmation by James and Amanda Silvas, who are going to be coming on the show soon as well, and reminded me how awesome she is. So I'm super grateful we got to make this happen, and super, super excited to have her on. So Nichole Sylvester is an international best-selling author of Oh Shift, a journey from chaos to consciousness. She is also a spiritual success coach and transformational speaker on a mission to guide people home to themselves to discover their innate power. Supporting thousands of people per year through her online programs, private coaching, and retreats. Nichole resides in Los Angeles, California, where she resides with her beloved daughter and their dog. And we're so blessed to have her. She's willing to invest that time away from her daughter, have her daughter, doing her things, becoming her greatest possible self. And she's here to help us become our greatest possible self. Nichole, you ready to rock this?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm ready.
Awesome.
I love your energy. I'm soaking it all up.
And you were showing us your book earlier, but you weren't on the screen yet. Hold that up. I want to see it. They want to see it. Oh, shift. I love that markered in.
My clients say that's what you'll read. Like, that's what you'll be saying when you're reading. That's a good point.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on today, for sharing your wisdom with us so that we can grow into our greatest possible selves with you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's dive right into the theme of the day, which is an all-connected universe, our all-connected universe. So how has that played a role in your life? How has it impacted you? What does that mean, our all-connected universe, to you, Nichole?
Gosh, that's how I'm creating everything that I create now. I'm conscious of it. So I use it for my benefit now. I'm like, okay, I can't see where this amount of money is coming from or where these resources for this project are coming from. But I know that there's parts of me that I can't see that are working for me. And that's something I'm always reminding myself. And I just feel that we're all in this big quantum field, which is true, right? Like quantum physics are proving that now.
Yes. I love it. I love it. And what difference does that make for you in your life, in fulfilling your purpose, and being your greatest possible self?
For me, it's knowing that I don't have to do this on my own. I'm not on my own. Even when I think I'm on my own, it's like, okay, I can tap into something else. There's something that's here that is delivering information for me and guiding people to me, guiding me to people. So I can not be in survival mode. I don't have to freak out. even if I do want to get into that, it's not serving me because I still am not in full control. There's something else that's orchestrating. So it's learning to trust and surrender and have a more playful, pleasurable life while creating.
Amen. Amen. I love it. I love it. So, Nichole, that is such a great response, and I also feel supported. I also feel, the connectedness in the fun, in the joy, in the creation, the process of creation, because we're already tapped into it. It's just recognizing and remembering that we already are, which gives us our power, our sense of source, and our sense of self. So I love that. 100% agree. So tell us more about what you're working on today. This book that you wrote. You're a spiritual success coach. You're doing awesome things. So tell us a little bit more about Nichole today.
Today, Sunday, I'm leading a live event called Divinity Rising. It's like a one-day retreat in Philly. I actually live in Philly now, so we've been trying to get on this call for a while.
Right.
Across the country, all these things have happened. So I lead that on Sunday. I am writing another book, which is like kind of the how-to. I have a money challenge that's happening next week, a free Own Your Money Shift. I'm big on money mindset and teaching people how to just reprogram what they believe about money and their ability to create it. So I have that happening, and just keep serving people, keep helping people. Remember who they are.
I love it. Awesome. Awesome. I feel the soul. I feel the spirit, the heart coming through you. And we want to know, how did you get this way? How did you become this person, Nichole? Let's dive back into that journey and talk about some of the evolution and challenges, obstacles, growth opportunities that you grew through to get to where we are today.
God, well, I'm laughing because it's funny, because I was like, I had to go crazy. I feel like a lot of people, like even Brene Brown, she talks in her TED Talk about, she had this breakdown, which her therapist called a spiritual awakening.
Right. Right.
And so it's like a pattern, right? But for me, it was the same. It was really just living a life that was super unconscious. I was using drugs and drinking alcohol starting at the age of 15. I was in abusive relationship after violent abusive relationship until finally I found myself selling drugs, transporting them across country. I mean, big amounts of cocaine. And I was in this relationship where it was so violent, I ended up at the hospital with 10 staples in my head. And with 10 staples in my head, I have a little girl who's 1 year old, almost 2. And I realized this generational stuff, it needs to stop now. But I didn't know how to escape. And I did escape. And that person, my daughter's father, ended up murdering a woman just 6 weeks after I left. And it was just such a big moment where it was okay, I had all these beliefs around men just act this way. Men act like that. And we just drink and we just do drugs. And that's what my family does. And I realized I'm the one that's responsible for changing all of this. So I moved to LA and just wanted to have a better life. And I found a spiritual center, kind of at my rock bottom. And I just surrendered to healing my life. And then I've been guided. I literally had an awakening at a spiritual retreat in 2014. And it was help women, share your story, everything will be taken care of. Because I didn't tell anyone. Everything that's in this book, I pretended didn't happen. I pretended time will heal it. I'll forget about it. Life will be okay. And it wasn't. I was actually getting more anxious, more sick, feeling like crap. And and then for the past 3 years, Monday is my 3-year anniversary of my business. So I got the call and I answered, and now here I am.
That's so amazing. Oh my gosh. So, going from that unconscious place, what would you say is it that brought you to consciousness and awareness and enlightenment, the journey of enlightenment, where you're at right now is a very love-centered, present human being. So how did you evolve so quickly from that?
I mean, it felt like it wasn't so quickly, but it was a dedication, literally where I would wake up and go to bed to A Course in Miracles. I have read and listened to The Power of Now over and over again. See, I understand the power of repetition, and I am obsessive with if I know that I'm responsible for creating a change in my experience, I'm obsessive. So I took all of that addictive personality and just poured it into spirituality and healing.
Yes. Yes.
And it served me, and now it's
Yes.
serving other people. So like even now, if you come to my house, you know, I have a limit on like TV being on, and I play YouTube on my TV out there, and I play frequency music, like at different frequencies. I listen to Happy Pocket Full of Money. I've been reading that book for 2 years. It's changed my life. So it's like I'm dedicated to changing and to seeing differently.
Wow. Why?
Because it feels good. It's freedom, and it's pretty crazy that we can like bend our reality and create whatever the hell we want. And like, I like look, sometimes I just stop and I'm like, this is my life. Like, it's crazy. What's like, what else can I create? You know, and then we get to take it. One thing that I do understand about the whole wealth consciousness and creating is that we do have a mandate. Once we know how to get free and we understand these principles, we have to share them. So I live for also sharing. And I mean, it's one of the principles that, you know, Wallace Waddles talks about that in Science of Getting Rich, the advancing man. Like, so it's like, we're always, that's our thing. So how could we not once we know?
Right. Right. And also it's like, it's, if we think about neurology and the brain patterns, like the more you think about something or talk about something, the more you become it. Right. Yeah. So for you to really truly integrate the lessons and the wisdom that you're picking up in, you know, the Science of Getting Rich or A Course in Miracles or whatever it might be, like it's imperative that you talk about it and think about it and are speaking about it and are sharing about it with everyone you can, because that integrates and deepens your soul acceptance and you know, integration with that as well.
Yeah, that's a great point. And it's also like the embodiment of it is like we have to live it. So we can't just listen to it. We can't just read it. Some people like read one of these books once and they're like, okay, I'm going to teach this kind of course, or I'm going to go and I'm going to do this, and I'm going to quit my job. And you can. But it's knowing that there is that integration period and that, you know, there's that whole like, be committed and just be devoted, and life will show you what you need to see.
Yeah. I love it. I love it. Okay. So you went through this journey and now you're building your business. What would you say is like the thing that gets you up in the morning, that keeps you driven and excited and inspired today? Is it the same that it was 3 years ago?
No. It's a little bit different. I would say like 3 years ago, I loved what I was doing, but I also had like a lot of fear around it. Like I would get so nervous before I did a live, or like I would do like all these prep before I jumped on a discovery calls. Now I don't do discovery calls. Now I'm more like how I feel like I'm playing small in a way, and I'm trying to recreate. I'm opening up to a recreation of like, what is my next level? I feel like this 3 years was getting to where I am now. So I wake up now and I'm like, I want more creative time, more creative space. So it's a little bit different, but what feels really good now is like I've proven to myself, and I now have this trust that like I'm not crazy. When I was starting my business, I'm like, am I crazy? Am I supposed to be doing this? Wow. Other people thought I was crazy. I went broke doing it. Yeah. And you know, now I'm like, oh yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. Now how can I do it bigger, better, more impactful?
Yeah, I sense from you a level of like logic, that you think things through as well, that you're like brilliant intellectually as well as, you know, spiritually. So I'm curious, what, like, did you always feel that way? And you know, how do you think that plays a role in other people's lives who are mainly spiritual but don't necessarily think about things, and they're not using their reasoning faculty, right, that we've been given? I'm curious on your perspective on that.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing is I would say that I think I give things like I do assess them, but I don't get stuck in my head. Like once I have a vision and I create a like action plan, I go. And I figure it along the way, and now I refine them. But for some people, like spiritual entrepreneurs, they think that like life is going to do it all for them. Like we're in this 3D world. So I'm like very in the 3D. Yeah. But I'm also like aware that there's parts of me I can't see, and there's things that I can't see that are working as well.
How do people bridge that gap? What would you recommend for people who are on that path of like feeling like, man, I know that I've been waiting for life to just do it for me. How can I actually start being more intelligent about my execution and effective?
I would say don't be afraid of the word hustle. Like, you know, a lot of spiritual entrepreneurs, people have this thing around like it's supposed to be easy. There is a level of ease, but there's also like our soul wants challenges and a rite of passage, like do the work.
Yeah.
I understand that, like, I got to get up and do the work even when I don't want to. I have a fairly leisurely life, like, but I'm still like, I'm doing work every day. Like, I'm creating something, I'm emailing, I'm thinking. So if you are treating your job like a hobby, or your work like a hobby, your business, then it's going to perform like a hobby. And that's one of my favorite things I tell people. Be honest about that.
I love it. I love it. Especially, I used to be so antagonistic to like corporate America, because it's like, like being in a cubicle, like I will never do that. And so there was an aspect of me that condemned business, that condemned organization, that condemned, structure. And it totally screwed me. I was like, oh man, like I don't want to do anything. I just want to like, play all day long. And so I recognized that, hey, you're right. Don't be afraid of the word hustle. Be willing to go through the hustle. Be willing to do what it takes, as long as it takes to go through the grind. And whenever possible, create ease. Create it being fun. Exactly. Create it being easy. Like, you are the creator. So yes, there's going to be those moments. Don't be afraid of them. Don't try to run away from them. Face them head on. Get them done with, and be as spiritually enlightened with them as possible, and say, hey, this can be fun. How can I make this fun right now? Let's get it done. Right. So I love that. I love that. It's powerful.
And I think everyone has different business models. Like, look, there's some coaches, and I'm just talking in the coach world, maybe in other businesses too, where you're like, look, I'm fine with this many clients a year, and I'm going to charge this much. I'm going to have a life of ease. I get bored. I love creating, and I love serving, and I know there's a next level, and I just want to play in that.
Yeah.
And, there's times where I don't, and I'm like, I'm clearing my whole damn schedule. And that's like the first time when you and I were supposed to talk. My book just came out, and I felt burnt out, and I was just like, clearing out my whole schedule. And I give myself that too, because I get to do whatever I want.
Yes, yes.
Being an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I love being an entrepreneur, especially my girlfriend. She's an entrepreneur, so like being able to have that synergy of mindsets, and like we can go where we want and do what we want, and like create. It's just so freaking awesome. So one of the things I wanted to talk to you about is the aspect of worth, right? And how to own our worth. So where would you recommend that we start in terms of understanding our worth, recognizing our worth, and then moving forward into owning it in the world? And how does that show up? How do we activate that? How do we live that?
Yeah, I would say the first thing you look at where you put people before you. And, like I posted something yesterday about people are so worried about loyalty and abandonment sometimes that they abandon themselves. Like, the first person you always want to be loyal to is yourself, your vision, your desires. And notice like where you're trying to overcompensate, or where you need to prove that you're enough, or, but I would say the key is just looking where you choose other people over you. And then that's like where you're like, wow, you can gauge like, how worthy do I feel I am? And this shows up as an entrepreneur, as someone charges for their services, because then you look at this, I'm about to exchange a unit of my life I'll never get back. What's that worth to me? There is no really gauge of worthiness. Like, I can't determine a worthiness. All we can say is, this is how much I feel my life is worth, and I'm not sharing my life with you for anything less. I see your smile. Like,
I want to let it sink in. I like letting things sink in. Because like, honestly, I've had challenges owning my worth. And so I'm really excited about this conversation, because I get to step into it too. Like, I think we all have our own areas of growth. So I'm like listening open ears for something either new, or for it to hit me and resonate with me in a certain new way. So I'm excited about it. So I love it. I love it.
There's no right or wrong. And I think this is where we get tricky. Like, I've had people ask me, what do you charge for my coaching services? And I'm like, I'm not telling you because you're not buying them. Like, don't try to look at what I'm doing and try to create for you. What I feel has nothing to do with you.
Wow.
Like, right? Like, I have to feel good about my exchange for my life. And you have to feel good about it. And you'll know if you feel like you're burnt out, or you're tired, or you don't have time for you. Because here's the thing, we can keep doing the same thing over and over again and exchange our time like that. Or we can create space, have that trust, and start asking, what's my next level of service here? We need space for that.
Yeah.
So if we're like undercharging and just like doing some scarcity thing where we think like this is all people have, there's people that have whatever you think they have.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
It's like be a magnet to those perfect clients. You know, there's people out there who are willing to pay like $1,000 an hour for coaching on
I
how to
think,
have more fun, you know,
oh
like,
yeah,
right.
I'll have more fun, but I guess I'm like, my coach breaks down to that amount. And you know, what's funny is I don't mind paying it because I feel like it serves me, and I want someone,
Mm,
I want to pay someone that like has that level of like not integrity, but they have that level of respect for their time.
mm,
I respect it, right?
yeah.
So we're all different and in different spaces, but I think it all comes down to how we feel, and that's the number one truth here.
Yeah. Yeah. So when it comes to how we feel, how do we shift how we feel to own our worth even more?
I would say you first have to get really honest about what you desire, because if you're going around, if you're going to keep saying, this works for me, this works for me, you're never going to get there. You have to get pissed off. You have to be disgusted by the way that you are selling yourself short.
Damn.
And I mean, like, you don't have to be, that sounds kind of harsh.
No, it's true. It's true though. Like people
Yeah,
people are in
I
airy
like,
fairyland, like waiting for things to manifest and magically come into their life.
you know, this is the thing. I don't even like when we say manifesting, we take ourselves out of the equation often
Mm,
subconsciously. Like, what are you creating?
mm,
What are you choosing?
yeah.
And if like no one is going to say, you know what, you're worth so much more. I would have paid you this much. I actually have it on in my debit card. I have it on my credit card right now. They're not going to say that to you. And I have to tell you that I was on Upwork hiring someone to do video stuff for me last night. And there's someone that's 10 and there's someone that's 33. And I was looking at the 10, like it may not be the same value, even though their credentials are the same.
Mm,
So it's like you think that you're doing people a favor. The other thing when it comes to worthiness and lowering prices, a big shift that I've had is I'm not going to enable people by acting like they can't create this money.
mm,
So I'm going to call you to grow, because I know the times where I have stepped up and made those investments that have my heart beating really fast and I'm thinking I'm going nuts. They're life changers.
wow.
So I'm going to call you to that rite of passage to do something that is challenging, and you're going to grow through it. And then you're going to recognize, wow, I am incredibly powerful creator.
Mm.
Or you don't, and it's not for you, and that's okay too.
You know, it's so interesting you said that rite of passage. Like I have never ever pieced that together of like, for example, a man would go out and, you know, hunt an animal or do something, you know, survive in the wilderness for a month, like with no supplies, like, and then come back. Like to be
Kind
able
of like
to right, exactly. That's what I'm saying. It's like to be able to create the money. It's like, hey, you want something. Do you want it bad enough? Do you want to survive out in the wild for 30 days bad enough? Do you want to keep your life? Okay, then you're going to figure it out. Or, you know, do you have the desire to create your reality and have, be, and do whatever you want and live your dream life? Is that fire burning bright enough in you to be able to create this money? If not, then you're not ready yet. And you need to go back to work to cultivate that fire so you can step up to this level.
Exactly.
Damn, that's huge.
Yeah. It's been a game changer for me. And I see it happening with clients, but it's like we have to understand that exchange. So when we understand that everything is an exchange and everything is energy, then we can start, you know, what I do with my clients more in depth is looking at where there's energy leaks, energy contradictions that they're not aware of. And we start really kind of fine tuning that, because the truth is we can't say, well, I want to make $10,000 per client and you're charging $1,500 now. And you're really looking out in the world like people can't afford that, or you're going to be doing damage to someone by charging that.
Wow.
It's just not, it will never happen.
Right. So when someone is making that leap from 15 to 10K, you know, what is that process? How do they become like, I don't want to say comfortable, but integrated with that price? What do they have to recognize?
Yeah. Well, I think the first is I wouldn't recommend someone went from 15 to 10. I would say go to 5 first.
Okay.
Right.
There's steps. There's steps.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
I'm
there's
sure
levels, right? But I mean, you could. So it's not
right.
that it's impossible, but it's like to lower the resistance. But what I would say is this. You have to be so in love with what you're selling. It has to be a freaking no-brainer to you. You have to be looking at this like, you don't want this? Are you crazy? Okay, bye then. You have to be like that. And if you're not like that, then you're going to have all of this doubt and this resistance. So what I do is I had gotten so excited about my stuff and I fell so in love with it. And I know that I'm going to deliver in a way that's just going to change someone's life. And when you're from that place, you're going to find your people. But also, you have to ask for business. There's some people that are like, I have a money block problem. You have a lack of asking for business problem. I was like looking at those things and I'm like, I don't see anything on here where you've been asking, pitching, inviting. Like, what's happening?
So speaking of asking for business and inviting, what would you recommend? I know every business is going to be different, but what have you seen as some of the most effective ways to do that, to get people excited about what you have to offer when someone is already excited and like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever. You know, what's the next step? How do they translate that into effective communication and invitations and marketing messages?
Yeah. I mean, I'm a pretty like straightforward, everything that I share, I'm offering, like I'm telling people what's going on. I mean, I would say always, every video, almost every post, I would say every post, if you want to just test yourself and integrate this, every post you're sharing. So like yesterday I was on the news and I'm like, guys, guess what? I was on the news. This is great. And then at the bottom, like, P.S. next week is my 5-day free money challenge.
Yes.
I'm like, Instagram story all the time. I'm like, guess what, guys? I'm so excited. And this is happening because I am excited. Yeah. And I'm going to be more excited sharing time with people, them having changes. Like, what is there not to be excited about? My thing is, don't shut up about it.
Yeah.
It's either like you go all the way in or you keep like tiptoeing around your purpose, which is like not serving you or anyone else that you're supposed to be helping.
This is freaking gold, Nichole.
I'm glad you're liking it.
I love it. Okay, so what is an area that you don't feel like you get to go to very often in interviews that you want to go to? I just want to like kind of give you some creative space since you love being creative.
I don't even know. I mean, my interviews go into all different ways because there's people that have read my book and ask me some crazy, weird stuff. And then there's this stuff. I say I like to play here more than the stuff we talk about when we talk about my book. So I don't know. You're hitting me. I don't know. Ask me something. What's
something that shocked you within the last week?
Shocking within the last week. God, well, I had some haters that came through last week. That was pretty shocking.
What happened? What happened? Tell us. Let's go there. That came up.
God, it was my first attack with like a gang of haters that just were mad at me. And it was one of them that really hated me. And they were just everywhere. They were like in my inbox telling me I was unimpressive. They were like on my YouTube videos, on my Facebook reviews. Wow. And it was upsetting because, I mean, just like I'm sharing, like I live for what I do. Yeah. I have to like peel myself away from it most of the time. So it was just like, I'm not used to that. I'm used to people doing all good stuff and like, thank you so much kind of thing. And I was just like, wow. But you know what? That felt like a rite of passage. I was like, I'm asking to be more visible. I say that I want to be on more TV shows and do all these things. And I better get used to the haters. So it got me to a point where I had this shift of like this new boundary of like, your opinion is irrelevant here. If you don't hire me, if I don't know you, you don't have my phone number, you're not my family, your opinion is irrelevant. And even if you're some of those people, I have the boundary of saying your opinion is relevant here, it's not.
Yeah. I accept that reality that you're creating, or I don't. I create my own freaking reality.
Yeah. Or you can like back away from mine. Yeah. Because I'm here for this and this is what I'm here for, and I don't have time for all of this other stuff.
Wow. So powerful. That's juicy. So what was some of the biggest lessons you learned in creating and launching your book?
Oh man. The first one is I'm leading like 14 people through writing their book right now. So I'm like,
wow. Damn.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. The biggest lesson I learned is that when you're hiring people to help you with your book, look at the work that they've done. I made the mistake of hiring someone by just asking people, like on Facebook in an entrepreneur group. And I went with the person that had the most referrals, which also had the highest price. And I thought, highest price, it's going to work. And she was like a beautiful woman. She had these like, cupcakes and Louboutins on and all this stuff. And I was like shiny object syndrome. And I made the investment and it wasn't what I needed. Wow. And then I had to go hire a whole nother editor to do that. So it was devastating in the moment because I had to push my launch date back indefinitely. Yeah. And I really spent a whole other year. But my book is an entirely different book. I'm so glad I wouldn't have the success with it if I would have rushed through and did that book.
Wow. So
the other thing is, I would tell people to do the damn work and write your book. Like a book has given me connection with people that nothing else I've done has given me.
Like what? Tell us more.
Just the way that people write me and the things like, they're like, hey, I read your book and it led me to share this big truth. It's given me the confidence to do this. It sparked me to write my book. Like that thing that you said, I keep reminding myself of it. Because look, we can do Facebook videos and YouTubes all day, but there's something about having a book and like, it's just different.
Yeah.
But it takes a different level of us to create and it also is going to birth a new level of us when we actually do it.
Damn.
So do it if you want to.
Do it if you want to. P.S. You really want to.
Yeah, if you've never thought about it, you probably need to. I think it's a legacy thing though. I think it's a good legacy thing.
Yeah. Yeah, and especially for influencers, like if you're committed to making the maximum impact as possible, the sooner you write the book, the sooner you can really like challenge yourself to get to that next level. Maybe your first book isn't like, you know, the best thing ever, and you got it done. And now you can do another one.
You do like all sorts of different, like, you know, podcast interviews, speaking engagements. It changes things.
Wow. That's awesome. So what have you seen difference in how your brand is like represented from before writing the book till now?
I mean, people have definitely, there's a shift. Like I've seen it, some of my friends have seen it, that people relate to me in a different way. Number one, so many people didn't realize that I lived through all those things and that like I do the work now that I have. And it's triggering to some people. That's what part of the haters were saying, was like, you were always a hustler and like, you know, I used to sell all this cocaine and now I'm selling, you know, stuff on the internet. The thing is like people can feel me and they know that I'm about this and like how I care about people. And I just know what it's like to have suffering. So I think people now can feel me and see me and be with me in a different way. And they go through this journey of me as a 5-year-old, like watching my dad overdose on heroin, to me as a 36-year-old that's running a really successful multiple 6-figure business, right? And it's like there's a different thing that happens when they get to read that. I've gotten so many emails and messages. I love it. I mean, it's only been like 4 months, so it's really exciting.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you feel writing your book is changing your daughter's life?
Her life, she doesn't want to read the book yet. She goes to all of my stuff with me. She's like, is at my event on Sunday.
How old is she? How old is your daughter?
She just turned 13.
13, that's awesome. That's so
So
cool.
for her, I mean, she thinks like this is her normal life. So people are like, oh, it's so cool that you get to do this stuff with your mom. And she's like, okay. My daughter and I have a very open relationship, so I had to tell her everything that's in the book before I published the book.
Totally.
I mean, before I even committed to writing it and starting my business, because my business is built on this truth. I was basically groomed and seasoned through my life to be the teacher I am today. Yeah. So I had to like share it. So for her, I think it's changing her life, but I think she'll know more about how later. She's kind of inward about it. Yeah. We're different processors. She's very inward and like takes things in, and I'm like big mouth one. So
what is the thing you want most for your daughter in her life?
I just want her to be happy and healthy. You know, that's it. Yeah. I know it's going to look different. I don't see her like doing the things I do, and we're just different. Like, you know, she used to do things like full moon ceremonies with me, and we used to meditate and all this stuff together. Now she's like over it because she's like teenager now and she's too cool. So, you know, I'm letting her just be what she is. But having a kid it's its own spiritual teacher in a way. Yeah. It's like, can I have this human without trying to control them, without trying to make them do all these things? Like, can I just let them be like what we're telling people to do? But it's different with your kid. Totally.
And it's like in a romantic relationship, they're a mirror, right? Like they're a mirror for you, and like you get triggered and you get to work on it, because like in reality, you don't have to be together. You know, you can like go your own separate ways if you're not on the same page, if your values are different, like if the season has come and gone. And with a kid, it's like, hey, you have an obligation, whether you like it or not, to make sure that this this kid gets set up in life, and then, you know, like once they're out and, you know, they said they want to be their own person, 16, 18, 20, 22, whatever age that is, like then you've done your job and you've done your best. And something that I've noticed is all the good values that my parents instilled in me when I was growing up, I rebelled against every single one of them, like through high school and through college, right? Party, drank, did drugs, like all kinds of stuff like that. Got in trouble. And so after that, though, after hitting my rock bottom, I was like, wait a second. There's some truth. There's some truth in that.
Actually, I'm sorry.
Right?
Now.
It's so true. It's so true. But I think there's a sense of, for me, like when I have kids, I don't have any yet. When I have kids, I know that I will have that level of patience and accepting and allowing, knowing that, hey, there's different seasons of life. There's certain seasons where the kids are going to be all over me and they're going to love me and they want to hang out with me all the time. And then there's probably going to be times where they're like, I want nothing to do with you. I want to be my own person. I'm going to do my own thing. So I just want to facilitate that as best as possible and remind them that I love them and I appreciate them and I care about them, like regardless of how they feel about me or what they're up to. I just want to let them know that they're supported.
Yeah. And you know, it brings up a good point. Actually, I think about that sometimes, how we can't leave the kids and like, this is our journey. We have to do these things, but also with our kids and with our lovers even, or mostly with ourselves too, the time to really practice love is when it's hard. Like, you know, that's when you're really practicing. Like, can you really be unconditionally loving and accepting when it's not someone in agreement, or when someone's being challenging, or when you are doubting yourself and feeling like crap?
Right.
You know, so we get to play all of it as a laboratory, and we just gotta roll with it.
That's what it is, though. It's playing. It's like totally playing. It's totally experimenting and experiencing and having fun and enjoying the freaking ride. It's so important.
You're like, okay, what's happening next? I have no idea. Let's find out.
I love it. So in terms of being able to love ourselves, what would you recommend for our listener who's out there, who's wanting to love themselves even more and own their love of themselves and their deep, you know, like the sense of love and connectedness with themselves that isn't surface level, that isn't because I'm supposed to, that is like true love for themselves, putting themselves first?
Yeah, I would say number one, just look at where you're reaching for things. Like one of the things is I notice when I'm like really reaching for my phone or reaching for, you know, something, like we're just trying to feel something, then I'm asking like, what am I really looking for here? And how can I give it to myself? Like we need to be our own safe space, our own sanctuary, and know that we start there. It's a starting point for abundance. It's a starting point because we have all of it. It's all us. So if you aren't loving yourself, and look, it's hard enough as it is going through life where like we're battling, like, is this real? Is this how I feel? What should I do? Like all of the craziness that goes on in our mind. Can we at least come back home to ourselves and know that there is this space of peace and love and all that? And so how, right? It's like at any given moment, no matter what's happening, you can stop and ask, like, where is the peace here? Where is the quiet here? Where is their love here? And I would say it's a practice, because if you've been taught to not love yourself and to criticize yourself, if you've had criticizing parents, if you've just been taught to be that way, it's an unlearning of learning, like, wow, this is my only body. Can I stop beating it up all the time, like verbally bashing it? Can I stop acting like I'm an idiot that doesn't know how to do stuff? Can I just remember that I'm a miracle?
Amazing. I love it. Are there any go-to affirmations or practices that have really made a difference for you in your journey?
Yeah, a few. Definitely, I was made for this, was like plastered on my bathroom mirror for like 2 years.
Wow.
I don't need it now. I took it down when I moved. But I was made for this. Is a huge one. Just reminder, like anytime there's a doubt, like this was for me. Any desire, any vision, it's mine. It's a gift. It's for me to deliver. If no one delivers it, no one will deliver it. Period. Not like me. So it's for me. The other one is everything I'm going to say is going to be good enough. Like, or everything I'm about to say is going to be good enough. When I get afraid, I developed that one when I was about to do a speaking gig, and it was really scary. It was like in Alex Theater. It was really big theater with like a balcony and everything. And I'd never been on a big stage like that. And when I was about to go out, I just kept feeling this fear. And I was like, wait, why am I acting like I'm not good enough? Everything I'm going to say is going to be good enough. And it just took off the pressure. I was like, who the hell am I trying to be like? Who am I comparing myself to?
Yeah, just go be you, go be real. And that's like all anyone can ask of you. Just like be at the end of that speech, say, you know, I was me. I gave my fucking best.
It's like we love people as humans. We love people that are just being people. And that's one thing that's definitely I built my business on is like I would get in all this thing of like, oh my God, I wish I looked like that, or I wish I had a little scene, or what's it called, a set that I could make my videos. And when I started my business, I was like poor, but I was just like, I can do this. And I started writing my book I tell people this and it's funny. I started writing my book on a laptop that wouldn't charge without me going like this all the time. And I would be in Starbucks and it would be like beep, and I would have to like move it around, and it was freaking embarrassing. And then I would ask my dad finally, like, could you just borrow me like $500 to buy this like, Staples laptop? And then when I first had like my big pop in business, I went and bought like, I went and bought a MacBook, and I was
Heck yeah.
But it's remembering too, like we get to choose. I get to choose is like my snap back to my true reality. No matter what's happening, if I'm doubting, I'm like, wait, I get to choose here. Why am I acting like I don't know how many people are going to come into this program? Why am I acting like I don't know how much money I'm going to make? Yeah, my soul may want something different, so it may outplay a little different than I would precisely want it. But I get to choose, and my behaviors will align.
Wow. So tell us more about that, because I think that's super powerful. So some people are like, I want 40 people in my program, my group coaching program, right? Whatever it might be. So how does I get to choose empower someone to do what's necessary, or to shift or evolve themselves to be that person that gets the 40?
So when you really get to choose versus just some BS, like I get to choose and it's like normal, right? Like when you go into I get to choose and it's like locked and loaded as a certain belief, like you are showing up differently. Like you're like, oh, get out of here with anything but this. This is what's true for me, and that's how I'm showing up. And you'll like, there will be an energetic shift. Like all of a sudden you will realize that we are like surrounded by millions of people, and you get to go out there and like you only need 40. Right? Like you start having different thoughts where, so, and then you have like ideas will come like, oh, maybe I should reach out to that person. Maybe I should follow. Guys, I'm so big on following up and stuff like this. Like you have to. You have to. Half of the time, people are just so glad that you actually care. Like, so like care. Be the person that's like, I'm going to be the coach that cares more than any other coaches. It will work, right? Because you lead from a different place. So that's why it's a choice. So if you were like getting no one in your program, then you're like, I'm going to get 40. But I'll tell you, it was funny because when I was doing my book incubator, I launched it. And I'd never done one before. And I decided to do that when I was in Bali, and I put it out in the world before I decided to move across country. So then I decided I'm going to move across country. And like, I just didn't feel like I had the emotional capacity to do this program. And I was like, I am crazy. I did the masterclass, like 4 people signed up right away. And I was like, cool, okay, that's great. But I wanted 20 people in there. And 2 weeks go by where I'm like not excited, not checked in about this program at all. So I'm packing to move across country last minute. And then when I get to Pennsylvania, there's like 6 days left until the program starts. And I was like, oh God, like, why did I do this during this time? I should have waited. And then I was like, wait, I get to choose. And I was like, you know what? What's a yes number for me? So I was like, I just want 10 more people. I want 10. So I went into, I won 10 and 11 came. And it was like funny because that day where I went back into like, let me get re-excited. Let me get excited and fall back in love with the process of what's about to happen and the results that these people are going to enjoy. So after going back into that, all of a sudden 3 people signed up that night. And so then it was like, okay, this was successful for the first time. Yes, did I want 20 people? Yeah. But if I would have stayed aligned with it the whole time, I would have probably surpassed it. But it is what it is.
I love your energy. It's so awesome. It's
this
really
is me
amazing.
Walking around my house crazy. I'm like, this is gonna happen. Imagine my sister how she has to deal with me. She's texting me now. I don't know what she's saying, but
I love it. What do you look for when it comes to finding mentors?
Mentors. I've only had one coach ever.
Wow.
And I just hired him in July.
What did you do all before that?
I was obsessive, and I went more spiritual. So the thing is, I'm a natural, like, dive in and get shit done. Yeah. I don't know if we're allowed to cuss on here, but that's how I am. So I know that no one else is going to give me the result but me. No one is going to show up for my goal but me. Mm-hmm. So I'm good at that. And one of my mentors that I didn't pay, it was someone I worked for, he like brushed off on me in that way. So that happened, and then I ended up hiring Tim Story as my coach. I don't know if you know him, but he's also like a minister. So I love people that are rooted in love and service. Mm. Yeah. So I'm not really attracted to the average internet coach. It doesn't attract me at all.
What, besides love and service, what do they have to do or demonstrate or have achieved for it to be like, they can help me get to where I want to go?
I think it's, for me, so I always say coaching is like, hiring a coach is like dating. Mm-hmm. And I'm like picky.
Yeah. You know? Yeah.
So, but it's a sin, like you have to feel it. Like someone can't just say like, this person got me great results, you should hire them. At least I don't think. Now, if you're hiring someone to come in and make over your systems for your business, that's a little bit different. Mm-hmm. But having someone that's going to help you hold the vision for your dream. So like what my coach does for me is reminds me to really just like stop playing small. And because of how big he's played and some of the people that are in his life and his circle, like he's someone that he was on Super Soul. And that's something that would be like, that is like amazing to me. I would love to be on Super Soul. Someone that has like had conversations with Oprah, they dream bigger, right? Like I'm just like, that's someone that when I tell them my stuff and then they give me direction, I'm going to listen. Because I feel like they've gone through some certain rites of passage.
Yeah. Yeah. I love it.
So just money is not enough for me. A coach making a lot of money is not enough. I want a coach that makes great money, but also lives in service and like really wants to help people.
Yeah. And has accolades or achieved things, milestones, conversations.
Like humanitarian, like my other like mentor that I haven't done really one-on-one. Like I haven't, he's not a coach. He doesn't do like one-on-one packages. Michael Becker. I've gone to so many of his things. Yeah. I love him, and he is the same thing. He's a humanitarian first.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to really be like. You know.
Awesome. So you're gonna start a church one day?
I'm gonna start a church, but I'm gonna start a dog sanctuary.
Ooh.
Yeah. So when I buy a property, that's what I'm gonna do is have dogs and save dogs. And I've already done nonprofit stuff, and I raised $31,000 for kids that need surgery. So like that's always been on my heart, but I just trust people that come from that space first. Yeah. So it's just my own thing.
I love it. Owning it. So Nichole, we're beginning to wrap up now. We want to know the final pieces of wisdom and guidance that you feel our audience really is ready to hear.
Okay. Just say something.
Yep.
Okay. Trust yourself. Right? Like, trust yourself. Everything that you're saying, one of my mentors told me once, you do know. And it changed my life, because now when I'm acting like I don't know and I get in this whole tizzy of like, oh my God, I want to make this much money by this amount of time. I want to get on this show by this amount of time. Then I'm like, stop. What do I know? What do I need to know that's here for me? And I have periods of like ceremony or being still and asking and crying, screaming, whatever I need to do, because we're human and we have to go through these processes.
So trust yourself and do whatever is the next step for you, whatever feels right, whatever is that process for you. I love it.
Stop asking everyone else.
Amen. Learn to trust yourself to ask the right questions, to journal, to go within, to listen within, to listen to source and self. I love it. Nichole, we want to know, how can we stay connected with you? What are our next steps?
Next step. Facebook, I'm here, so that's easy, right? I play on Facebook. I do Facebook Lives a lot. My challenge is happening next week, so join me. It's free. We're going to meditate every day, and it's a money mindset challenge. People love when we do those. And then I'm on Instagram, YouTube, my podcast, Shift Show. Sometimes I forget that's happening. It's still fairly new. You can check that out. Every Monday there's episodes, and my website has all of those things. So
Beautiful. And your website is NicholeSylvester.com.
Yes, Nichole with an H.
Nichole with an H. That's right. That's right. Awesome. So Nichole, thank you so much for coming on today. I'm so grateful we got to connect. I'm so grateful to be impacting the world in big ways. And I just love your energy. And I'm definitely going to stay tuned to more of your stuff. I'm definitely going to go back and listen to this episode because I have a feeling that there was a lot of gems for me personally in this. So thank you for being the conduit to my next level, my greatest possible self. Thank you.
Oh, that's awesome. All right. Thank you so much, Chris. Bye,
Awesome,
everyone.
Nichole. Have a great day.